Hey guys, welcome back. Today is finally time to rip back into this golf cart. So as you guys can see, I've got a brand new 16 horsepower engine here, so we're going to have to make some room inside. So first thing I want to do is sand all that frame up and take out those pillow block mounts I made. Alright, so now I've just rushed through, I got all that stuff cut off. So all the battery boxes that were here, all that unnecessary junk at the front, that's all out of there. So what I'm planning on doing is making up the motor mount here, and then having a jack shaft originally planned. We'll put that back there with some new mounts, and we'll be able to gear this thing right up. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sand down all these welds and all this uneven metal that's all been cut off, and then I'll wire brush it and we'll mount the motor up. Alright, so I've really roughly just put the motor in there just to roughly see how it's going to go. I think we're going to have to take off the fuel tank, air cleaner and exhaust just to try and make this thing as small as possible. So that'll bring the height back down about here, and that way I can mount the motor and all that. The exhaust is obviously going to get rerouted out to the back. The fuel tank I'm possibly thinking about putting up here if I can, just because there is a flap in the plastic that you can move and fill that up. And the air cleaner we might just do a relocation up to the front there, or I don't know, we'll figure that out. At least we can still get to the pull start, so we might even hang that out the side of the plastic so we can still pull start it. But this thing is electric start. I got this piece of 10mm thick plate. It's overkill, but it was scrap at the local scrap yard, steel yard, so we'll be able to put that in there. Alright, wow, that looks awesome in there. Let's use a tight squeeze, but I got the mount just roughly tacked in there. So I'm just making sure that the clutch is going to fit there. So now you can sort of get an idea of what we're going to do. So this clutch I'm actually going to cut up, and I'll show you guys that after. So this one will run to the jack shaft, and the jack shaft will go straight to that motor. Now I might have to clock that motor a little bit downwards because that jack shaft's going to be facing a fair way down. But what we're actually going to do is, I'll take this off. I'm going to measure the motor and make sure that's all nice and square, and then we can cut our holes for the mounting holes. So down the bottom there, we'll be able to cut those out, and then we can mount this motor up. Alright guys, I think that's all we can do today. So basically the engine's completely mounted. All we have to do is join the two holes up. So I drill one on each side and then I'll just get a metal blade on the jigsaw and bring them together. So we'll be able to slide this engine that way. And that'll be able to tighten up this chain. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've put just these rough mounts here. I'm going to have to find make them nice and level. Might even run a bit in between just for now. But basically what I'm going to do is take another one of these centrifugal clutches. I'm going to pull it apart like that. I'll cut all the webbing out of inside and then we'll be able to sand it all down, and that actually slides on that shaft perfectly. So I'll be able to weld this to the shaft, so that'll give me my 420 pitch chain, and that'll be the 16 tooth. And I'll get another one for here, and that'll slide on there, so they'll both drive that, so the shaft will always spin the same speed as the motor. And then what I can do is I'll be able to run the back sprocket here straight to the electric motor, and we can always make that bigger or smaller to give us more torque or more power. So yeah, I think that's basically where we're at. So in the next video, I'll be mounting up these pillow blocks. Now I do have a second-hand car battery here. This one's actually tested really well. So I just grabbed that, and this is actually one of the 6-volt battery trays. So I'm just going to splice that in there and bring this down a little bit, so obviously it'll fit there a bit better. But yeah, the battery will be here, engine will be there, and we'll probably mount the gas tank there. And this extra keyway on the shaft will allow us to be able to put a disc brake caliper or anything on there. So for the future of this engine, I will be supercharging it. I've seen Grindhard Plumbing Co.'s supercharger build there, and that was really cool. That's inspired me to want to do this. So I have seen these actually supercharged in the States, but I don't think we can really get a kit over here. So I found a mini Roots supercharger on eBay. So I think what I'll do is make up a bush on the end of there. It actually has a thread inside, so we'll be able to press that against the end. We'll put a pulley on there, and we'll be able to drive our supercharger off that. And possibly I'll even get a bigger alternator, so maybe an 80 amp alternator just to charge up this battery. So that's sort of the plans there, guys, but this thing is definitely coming along. Sort of ran out of hours of the day here, so I'm sort of having to end it here. Alright guys, that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely stay tuned for the next part where we'll be doing that jack shaft and everything I mentioned just there. I cannot wait to get this thing running and then supercharge it, so that's going to be really exciting. Definitely make sure you guys smash that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss anything. I'll see you guys in the next one.